Hey everyone, welcome to the Nicks podcast from start to finish. Today we're going to continue with an interview with the owner of Nicks Boots, Shuyler Mao. Shuyler, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Grant?
I'm doing good. It's a Friday and just feeling the Friday vibes.
Yeah. It seems loose out there, a little cheerful.
Yeah. Do we need to tighten it up a little, you
No,
think?
no, no. I think this is good. I was just in production. Everyone seems pretty happy. It's about an hour away from from the weekend for them, and
Awesome.
they're working hard, but I think ready to kick off and start having fun.
All right, good.
Yeah,
It's really important for bootmakers to have fun.
it is absolutely.
Yeah. So today we're gonna do another interview with you and just kind of people want to know kind of who's behind the brand these days. And authenticity is it's becoming a thing, right? When you buy a high dollar item, you can see all the marketing behind it, and it looks good, it's polished, it's a good product, but sometimes you want to know what's a little bit further behind the scenes. And so we're going to
Yeah.
go deep. We're going to go deep today.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Not really,
I
but
think
kind of.
I don't know. Maybe I should say for the record that I'm not like an egomaniac who insists on being interviewed all the time, and that this is the team's idea as well. Okay. I just want to put that
Oh,
out
I
there.
think that's good to clarify. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to drag you in here.
That's an exaggeration.
Somewhere in between the two.
Okay.
Yeah. You're a willing participant.
I'm a willing and
But not every episode of this Nick's podcast from start to finish will be an interview with you.
that's good to hear.
Okay. Let's get started. Did you ever imagine that you would be in the footwear industry?
No.
Never.
Is that no, I just can't answer. No. No, I don't know. No, I did not. My father, as we've talked about, purchased the business in 2013 and was involved with the boot business from that time on, obviously in a lesser capacity than I am now. But no, I mean, I love shoes. I think everybody has shoes, most people, hopefully.
Yeah.
But no, it was not necessarily a goal of mine. I wasn't like that kind of person. Some people are like, I'm going to be X. I'm going to be an
Right.
astronaut. I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be a lawyer or whatever. I didn't necessarily know that, know what my calling would be.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Okay. This is a fun business. What would your kind of dream job be? Let's just suppose you weren't running Nick's Boots.
I love this job actually, and I think I like products, so that's where I have always had a job related to products. My first, I'd say, real job, or that's probably demeaning to say that. My first job out of college was selling car audio, like online. It's kind of how I got into the e-commerce business. It was
Okay.
like a startup that would sell speakers, Kicker and Infinity and
Subs and whatnot.
subs and a lot of
Woofers.
like performance parts for cars,
Okay.
sway bars and exhausts and stuff like that.
I'd kind of like it if Nick's got into that. That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
well, you
never know.
never say never, as
That's
I
right.
say.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that'll be on the roadmap. But yeah, no, it was a good time. I mean, I got into products, and I love the physical nature of doing
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
I have had a couple stints at more software oriented businesses, and that was never quite as rewarding. So then, my next job was in textile products, outdoor textiles,
Mhm.
patio furniture, covers, grill covers, cushions, umbrellas. Definitely not as sexy as the car audio or the footwear, but it was always cool. Like I still see those products every time I drive around most
Mhm.
places,
Yeah.
which is really gratifying to see.
Yeah. I think you pointed one out the other day.
I did. I was one that I'd helped bring to market. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What was it?
The Sky Shield RV cover.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. What's the best part of your job?
People. I mean, the interacting with the people. I think seeing how far we've come, not necessarily just from like a volume or dollars and cents standpoint, but I feel like we are working together more closely with more trust. It's, I don't know, how do you say this without sounding kind of corny, but
Corny's good.
the relationship between like production and sales and customer service is strong now. We have a good understanding of our direction. I feel like the vibes are good, you know? I mean, as I've said, I'm a big vibes guy,
Yes, you are.
you
Mhm.
know? And I
Can
like,
you define what that means?
no, it's undefinable.
It's undefinable.
No,
Okay.
it's just vibes.
Just vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel the vibes, you know?
Right.
And
The vibe, like for example, the vibe is good today.
the vibe is good today,
Yeah.
you know? And the vibe's been good for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I had my one-on-one with Rebecca, our customer service manager, and I was like, "Uh-oh, things are going really well right now.
Yeah.
When's the other shoe going to drop?" But you know, so
Yeah.
far we try and stay ahead of that bad shoe and keep making good shoes
Good
like
shoes.
Nicks Handmade Boots. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
From start to finish.
yep.
What do you I don't like the word dread, but what's the worst part of your job? And if it's working with me, please don't say it here on the podcast.
It's definitely not. No, um, the like repetitive. So we're still a pretty small business. You know, I mean, we're definitely bigger than we were, but the administrative and accounting. So I like, for example, kicked this can down the road for days and days and days. And I don't know if anyone's had a calendar reminder and you hit edit and you put it to the next day because you don't want to deal with it that day.
Mhm.
But I did our like 401k reporting, our annual report on January 31st. It was due on January 31st.
Yeah.
You know, that's very tedious. You have to look up everybody's contributions and true them up and make
Mhm.
sure everybody's like, you're doing it right. That is not my favorite thing to do. So yeah, straight up, the kind of the minutia of running the business,
Mhm.
paying bills sucks. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
it's not even the money; it's the fact that
Lick
you
envelopes.
have to. Well, I know I could probably do some ACH transfers, but I like seeing the bills come in and
Yeah.
processing them. I do feel it like it helps give me a sense of the business and
Sure.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. How do you stay up to date with like what's happening in the footwear space? Like what's your go-to?
There is no go-to. It is a at times consuming consumption of media, whether it's on Reddit or Footwear News or Style Forum or individual. I'm signed up to everybody's email list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, Russell Moccasin is offering an $800 boot with a pour-on mid or pour-on sole. Yeah, a pour-on insole. Oh, that's cool. You know, wonder how that'll go. But you know,
Yeah.
like just looking at that, I check everything. It is kind of it's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it is a lot. And sometimes I'm like, okay, like you know, I don't know. Like I know I have friends, you know, they're like wholesale businesses or
Right.
they're like so their customers are retailers, and so they're not necessarily as close to the consumer
Right.
as we are. I think there are some advantages to that, and definitely some disadvantages to
Mhm.
that. But like I remember, so so the cover company we sold to Walmart, we sold to Amazon, we sold to Target, you know,
Yeah.
and you know your day to day was like, yeah, let's make sure the business runs smoothly. But you know, it was all I would say big moments. You know, it was basically when you're going to meet with the buyer for Amazon, when you're going to meet with the buyer for Walmart, when you're going to
Right.
meet with the buyer for Target, and so you're building up to this moment. And what happens on that day will determine what happens for your like entire year.
Right.
You know, whereas here, I'd say it is a low level, low grade, constant attention to detail, a little bit of anxiety,
Yeah.
and just trying to have a finger on the pulse of a lot of things that are going on. You know, none of which individually will make or break you, but all of which together, you know, add up to whether you succeed or fail, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely there's a lot of channels that need to be monitored and that can definitely be taxing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're a big part of that, right? So you're
Yeah.
generally responsible for Instagram and Facebook. I generally handle like Reddit, Style Forum, so, and then we all kind of tag team YouTube, TikTok, and like that's crazy, right? Like there's,
Yeah.
you know, so I was like doing the math, and we have like four, no, we have like almost 500,000 subscribers across all of those different
Right.
channels
Right.
and millions of views, and so you have to, you know, it's this wonderful, amazing thing that's made us who we are,
Mhm.
but it is just a ton of engagement that you know, you have to track and you have
Yep.
to be a part of, you know?
Yep. Yep. What product are you the most proud of that Nix makes or that we buy?
I mean, it'd definitely be something we make. I would say either the tactical boot or the Chelsea. the tactical boot because it was the first time since I've been here anyway that we sourced a new type of sole, from Vibram
Mhm.
that required a different process to get it to adhere and
Mhm.
stitch on and all that stuff. That was challenging, and I think like leading up to that point, a lot of our product were just variations of the
Yeah, right.
the Builder Pro,
Mhm.
and in this case, it was a totally different. Well, it was a significantly different approach that
Right.
required a lot of testing and
Mhm.
R&D and visits, and I was very very proud of that. And then the Chelsea was also, and kudos to you. You were the point
Mhm.
man on both of these products. The Chelsea required a whole new pattern. Not like an adjustment to an existing
Right.
pattern.
Mhm.
It was a completely from the ground up pattern, and we worked with a pattern maker through a number of revisions to make it work. I think it turned out fantastic, and it's like just a huge improvement to our capabilities.
Right.
That we can do this now,
Mhm.
and it took a long time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pain,
So
but
pride and innovation.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If all the leathers were obsolete except for one, which one would you choose to keep around for Nicks?
Probably 1964 Brown.
That, according to my sheet, is the correct answer. Yes.
We developed we
I
developed that
agree.
leather,
I agree.
and worked closely with Seidel on it,
Mhm.
and that was kind of our first special leather that we offer.
Yeah.
And I think it's incredibly tough work leather, but it's also visually interesting. It's got
Yeah.
some pull up.
Yeah.
I thought we did a really great job. You did a great job.
Yeah. That was a lot of Nathan.
Yeah.
I think one of his first things that he mentioned starting at Nick's is, why don't we have like kind of a medium brown color?
Yeah. No, it's a very appealing color
Yeah.
to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's one of our best selling leathers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If a Street Fighter 2 character were real, which one of them would shop at Nick's?
Guile.
Guile.
Yeah.
Why Guile?
Well, he's American, so that makes things a lot easier.
What boot do you hope Guile would buy?
He would buy a tactical boot for sure.
Okay.
I mean, he's
Okay.
in the
I'm
military.
surprised you said Guile. I thought you were gonna say a Blanca or something.
He's in South America.
That's true.
It'd be really difficult to get here.
Yeah. Does he have human feet? No, he's.
And yeah, I
I
don't know if
think
the
he's.
electrical ability would get through the metal detector or
That's
something.
true. We are coming out with an EH version.
Oh, there you go.
Next week. So
There you go. Exciting.
we can hook up Blanca. What's an item that we don't make that you wish we made?
I think
An item.
pretty like any shoe. I think we can make like in we can figure it out. I mean,
Yeah.
So I'm not. There's not like, oh, I really wish we could make like a Jodhpur boot or something. We could make a Jodhpur boot.
Right,
Like
right.
I just said Jodhpur boot because it's kind of like challenging boot to make.
Yeah. That's like a short with the buckle.
It's like a riding boot. It's anyway.
The
Yeah.
shorter, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. I'd never wear one, but they're cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Well,
would secretly wear one.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I think developing our capabilities beyond footwear, I think would be really
Mhm.
really interesting. We've already done it with belts, and that's a great business. I think going above the boot. You're not making like leather pants,
Right.
even though that's something you wanted to make. But like
Yeah, it was just like the number one search term on Amazon.
lederhosen or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what would you like? What do we not make that you would think you would like us to make?
I don't know that I'm being interviewed in this session in this episode.
All right, fair enough.
Like personally, I would like a pair of leather suspenders. I think they're just cool.
Oh well,
And they need to come back. I mean, here's another like, these are just dumb.
You can make those in like half a day.
These are dumb grant ideas, but I do think that the fanny pack needs to come back. I just, my pockets are full of stuff all the time, and there's my pen in this coat pocket today.
Why don't you try it out with an existing fanny pack and see if
Yeah.
that's something you like, and then maybe
Yeah.
we could look at.
We could bring it back, yeah.
Look at-
But they
look
would
at
be
making
really
that.
cool. They'd be really cool fanny packs.
Okay.
So
Huh.
What is a product that you just thought, "Oh, man, this is gonna crush it," and it was a fail for sure?
I've said this before. I thought our women's boot would do better, the Becca.
Mhm.
It's like, okay. I feel like it's making a little bit of traction,
Out
but
outside of the Becca, 'cause you've used that one before.
well,
What's
it's
another
true. Um,
what's in 2nd place?
the tool belts have
Okay.
been slow for adoption, and I think we did not understand as much about that market as we should have.
Yeah.
And I think there, like you mentioned, suspenders. We need to offer suspenders with that
Yeah.
product, to
Yeah.
distribute the weight better.
Right.
So I think there's some improvements that we can make there that we learned,
Yeah.
but maybe didn't do as much of the R&D
Right.
as needed to
Yeah.
to kind of nail it on the first try.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they are objectively very, very good products.
Sure, but like that's I think we've learned that that style is not as popular as maybe it used to
Mhm.
be. And
Mhm.
so if somebody's going to have a leather, bag set,
Yeah.
they're going to need support beyond what just,
Mhm.
goes around your waist.
Yep, yep. What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Just get a degree and everything will take care of itself.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, so I went to school like right, finished high school at the end of the 90s. And so like that was right before STEM stuff started to become a big deal and like
Right.
tech took off. I just was like, okay, well, I'll just go to college
Yeah.
and and also when like everybody started going to college, like there were
Mhm.
tons of colleges.
Yeah.
And so I got a liberal arts degree, which, I'm proud of it. I definitely broadened my mind, but
Mhm.
did not, I would say, set me up to immediately, start get a job that
Right.
paid super well.
Yep. It didn't pay you enough to get, like, an '89 Toyota pickup right out of the gate or anything like that?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no.
Yeah.
Hand me downs for me, man.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting answer. So, had somebody said, what if somebody had said, like, "You should pursue a STEM degree?" Would that have been better advice?
I'm not
Or
saying necessarily that it has to be a STEM degree. I think we, I think it's also about like the experiences that you have in college, like internships. And it's kind of a hell of a thing. It's like, here's you're 18, and
Right,
then we're like, here you go. 4 years later, you know, figure it out. And
right.
then, and also now you've been offered, now like I got it. We upgraded our line of credit this year,
Yeah,
and there was far more scrutiny on that
yeah.
than there was on like any student loans I got,
Yes, right, right. Yeah, yeah.
which is like
So it's
irony.
a common conversation that's, circulating, It's impossible for an 18-year-old to get a business loan for 10 grand, but you can get college loans,
Sure.
for $200,000 without any questions asked.
And well, and I just I guess what I mean is like I wish I'd had more of a plan
Yeah.
going into undergrad, and like
Mhm.
what is this going to look like
Yeah.
afterwards, because
Yeah.
it goes by pretty fast.
You mentioned that you've always been in products or tangible products. I mean, at what age would you say you were like, "Yeah, this is okay." Not necessarily a specific job, but you're like, "I like products."
It was probably a little later for me. It was when I was able to start working more closely with the product development team
Mhm.
as a marketing person
Yeah,
at the cover company,
gotcha.
and help inform those decisions with
Mhm.
like what's going on in the marketplace and that sort of thing. What would be successful, and being part of design meetings and working
Mhm.
with designers and eventually sourcing and manufacturing and that sort of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
but probably a little later in life,
right.
late 20s. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you kind of roughly know more of what is interesting, genuinely interesting, in your late 20s, maybe early 30s.
Yeah, it takes, well, for me, it took a while
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
Similar question, what are 3 pieces of advice you would give your younger self? Don't go to college. No, I'm kidding.
No, college is important. It can be important.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be. Be good to yourself.
Mhm.
People are what make the difference, not like your job title or
Mhm.
how much money you make, obviously within reason. And start contributing to your 401k as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So be good to yourself, 401k contributions. Was there 3 of them?
And uh, people are what matter.
People are what matter.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, because I was, pretty. I eventually got a pretty big job, and I remember like I'd worked really hard to get there,
Yeah.
and then like when you get it, you're like, is this like everyone still treats you the same? Like
Right.
your friends don't care,
Right.
and your family doesn't care,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and so I was like, okay, like is this really what I should be pouring all my energy into? And so I think that's a good thing. Obviously, if professional success is something that's important to you, and it is to me, obviously,
Yeah.
then there is a reward. There is rewarding experiences to be had there.
Yeah.
But I think keeping in mind the people component, and in the capacity of your professional
Mhm.
advancement and also your friends and family is what ultimately I think provides the most rewarding life
Mhm.
experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's good. That's good advice. How would you describe yourself in 3 words or using 3 words? Schuyler is
Generous, aloof,
Mhm.
driven.
Let's zero in on the aloof.
Sure. Why? I just said it.
Why would you consider yourself aloof?
I feel like I'm a little introverted,
Okay.
and I get, you know, I don't get my energy from being around people.
Mhm.
I think, everybody, well, most people are on a scale. And so I definitely enjoy sometimes when, being, want to be extroverted, but
Yeah.
it's, I guess, not like where I charge my batteries.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. It's interesting you describe yourself as introverted because I wouldn't.
Well, introverted, I don't think it necessarily means you're like, you can't talk to people or you're
Yeah.
not. I've spent a large chunk of my life becoming okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I plan conversations in advance,
Yeah.
and I've been fortunate to have a lot of experience with that. And I've gotten better at it.
Yeah.
But, um, you catch me on an airplane, like you're sitting next to me on an airplane, or you're
Yeah.
sitting next to me, come in an elevator or something like that. Like he's like I was flying the other day, like a couple days ago, and the guy next to me, like he said hello, he's like, and I was like, I don't know what to say, like hello,
You flying for business or for family?
yeah, and I was like, oh, okay,
Oh, here we
I don't
go.
want to do this, yeah.
Well, it's probably because you're catching up on some fantasy football or baseball or something. This guy was
We're in
just,
between seasons, man.
oh, gosh, you had no excuse. Hockey. You
I'm
just
not
made
a,
up
I'm not a
hockey.
fantasy basketball guy.
Okay.
It's just like a lot to keep track of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Tell us a bit more, outside of the boot space, what do you enjoy doing? What are your hobbies?
Um, Hiking, golfing. I like to cook like big meals.
Mhm.
Like to kind of have people over to dinner parties and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Spending time with my wife, and I like to travel. I like to see new places and
Yeah.
get out and about.
What's a place that you want to travel to?
I've always been fascinated by like the southern parts of the world
Mhm.
that like because you think of the southern, going south, it's gonna get hot. But I think like if you go
You're
far
talking like
enough,
Florida, right?
no, no, no,
I'm
no.
just kidding.
But if you go far enough, it gets cold, and I'm thinking like
Yeah.
southern South America, like Patagonia,
Yeah. Mhm.
Tierra del Fuego,
Yeah.
Tasmania,
Mhm.
and to a lesser extent South Africa, but mostly those places. And so I just think that would be kind of like you just don't really hear about those places very much or don't
Right.
think about them very much. And I've always wondered like what would it be like down there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, that's fascinating. What is making you happy in life lately?
So my wife and I have been trying to have a child for a while now, and I feel like we're finally making some progress there, trying some kind of alternative methods, and that's exciting for us. It's been kind of a grind, and I
Mhm.
feel like the fact that we're making some progress is like making me feel good.
Mhm.
And then the business is doing well and growing. The people here are happy and thriving. The fact that I feel a little responsible for that is really
Yeah.
really rewarding. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Last question. If you could own a car from the 90s, what would it be?
no question, it'd be like mid '90s 2-door Tahoe, full size. like 94 or 95. Um,
Chevy Tahoe?
so the two-door Tahoes, man, like they're sick. Like,
Two-door Tahoe? I can't
so you don't
even
even, so like they
visualize
used to be
that.
like a K5 Blazer and then they transitioned
Oh, okay.
to the Tahoe. And so it's like a Bronco, but it's a Tahoe, like a full-size Bronco, but a Tahoe.
Okay.
And there was a kid in high school who had one,
Yeah.
and he had this like Borla exhaust on it, and
Yeah.
it sounded so awesome.
Did you sell him that exhaust from the company
No, I
you
did
worked?
not.
Oh,
That was before I started working there.
okay.
I just always have always, like all this like
Would you
car stuff
actually
is
drive it?
for sure.
Okay.
Um,
I'll be on the lookout.
well, they are.
They're
I'm
getting
not
up
the only
there.
one. I'm not the only
They're
one
getting up
who
there,
likes
yeah.
these. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think there's a car like that really out there anymore, especially what we went through with the pandemic and everything. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, no, that all that stuff is nostalgia, and like that makes me think back to like high school,
Yeah.
and, fun, carefree days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, carefree days in the Tahoe. Now, you had a friend you knew somebody that had one, but you never owned one.
I've never owned. No,
Okay.
no,
So
not
would
a
that would
two-door
be
Tahoe,
like a
no.
90 what, 93,
I think
94?
that was like 3 years of it. I don't know. I think it was
Okay.
like 93 to maybe 94 to 96.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it looks cool.
I think so. And like,
Uh-huh.
especially if you like lift it a little bit,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
put some bigger tires on there.
Get that exhaust slapped on there. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're kind of, obviously it's a almost 30-year-old car.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there's not a lot of clean examples. I have looked. There's not a lot of clean examples out there
Yeah.
for sure.
Clean meaning aesthetically,
Uh,
or you're talking eco-friendly clean?
no, like,
Oh.
like a clean title and,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
like,
Yeah.
straight body.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no mint like time capsules.
No, they exist, but they cost a fortune.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Like 30, 40K or?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
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 Maybe a little more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think you've mentioned that before, but I need to do a little research on that. I love cars from
Well, there was
from
one
the
at,
90s.
there was one at UGM. So we live close to the Union Gospel Mission, or we don't live. We work close to the Union Gospel Mission used car lot, and so Grant is definitely a used car aficionado.
Yeah.
And I always kind of check it out as I drive into work. But there was one, but it was it's like 200,000 miles.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Okay.
I was going to be a thing, and I just don't know if I have the intestinal fortitude for that.
Well, we're gonna make your dreams come true.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, at least I could buy a junker, and you could borrow it.
Yeah,
from me.
but I've seen
You can borrow it from me.
Like I've seen your you have a Toyota Cressida. No, what's the
no.
RV called that you have?
Oh, the Toyota Chinook.
The Chinook.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Is that operational?
No, oh no.
Okay.
No. Yeah, sad story about.
So Grant has like 6 Volvos and 2 of them work,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I kind of feel sorry for your neighbors sometimes, but
Oh, I do too. They're trying to sell their house. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. I'm just like, sorry, folks from California. This is how we roll up here on the prairie.
Nice.
So
Nice.
they have to make a choice. But okay, well, Shuyler, as always, we appreciate you.
Hey,
taking
thanks
the
for
time.
having me.
Yeah,
I'll see you again in 2 weeks.
thanks for having me on my own podcast.
All right, man.
But all right, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks
again.
for joining, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
See ya.